What do you guys see as something special within hospitality in that?
Me, I think that like the world of hospitality, it's so big, so you can get many things. So, I mean, if you are looking for like a more luxury thing that it's very special, I don't know, for like a honeymoon or something like that, you get that. But then if you're like more low cost and you just want to visit a city but you don't have the money to spend like on the luxury thing, you also get another type of hotel. So then it's a very big world. Like if it's for business, then we also have hotels for business. If it's for leisure, then for that, and all price tags, all things.
I think one of the special things is how much personality is in hospitality, right? You actually do have guests who come back to the property, right, because of an individual, because they, the first time they stayed at the hotel, made their stay, and ever since then they come back and they always ask for this one person because they just love their service so much, or the concierge made a very special thing for them. So I think that's something that is so special, that the personality that every single and individual team member brings to the table and brings to a guest experience, I think it's very special.
Yes. For example, for me, when I think about my favorite memories with my family, it's when I was young and we all traveled together, and it was like I always remember when it was, I don't know, to a beach resort, and there was like the all included, so you could eat a lot all the time, and then you wouldn't like think about what am I gonna do next, like everything was already there, and those are my favorite memories, and well, you get that in a hotel. So I think, well, I don't know how it is for others if you also have childhood memories with your family at a hotel, but it's something very special.
And actually building upon that, because I think it's so beautiful that you even see a glisten in your eye when you're talking about, oh, I remember like this when I was a child. So what do you think it really takes to make that special experience in hospitality?
I think, well, it takes lots of things, but one that it's very important is teamwork. Because, I mean, you could have this great hotel with beautiful, like, the walls and everything, but then if something is not working, then nothing works. So for example, if you have like the best restaurant and the best team and the best managers and human resources and everything, but if, I don't know, there's a problem in housekeeping and then you see your room dirty or something, then the whole experience goes down. Or then if the room is perfect, but then you go to breakfast and something is wrong there, you're like, it goes down. Or then at check-in, there's I don't know, like a super long line and nobody helps you, then you're like, you're down. So it's a teamwork. Like everyone has to work together for it to make a good stay.
And how have you experienced that? Because obviously we are in the world of hospitality. There is so many different cultures that really come together to make this one cohesive movement. They're all parts of the moving machine. So how do you find interacting with all those other cultures, and what does it take to bring them all together?
I think honestly that's what I love about it. Very few other industries bring that much of the world together in one place, right? I mean, every single property that we have, I think, almost has an internal diversity that is, unlike any other you see. So I think that's something what you have to love also, right? I don't think that as a person who isn't open to other cultures, you would really enjoy it, because you do have the differences of cultures, of religions, but when you do love it, it is amazing, right? It's so diverse. Every day you learn something new about a different culture, and I think overall that's just something that when you do like it, it makes every day special.
I mean, if you do like experiencing different cultures and different people from different places, Hilton is the place to be. Because really, there's Hiltons everywhere in the world, and maybe you start in Barcelona and you work there for a couple of years, but then you're already at Hilton. So then if you apply to another Hilton in, I don't know, Germany or in another place, well, you already know the company, you already know the values, and then you have like a higher chance to get a job in another country. So it's not like working in a like local place where then you travel to another continent and nobody knows it. So, I mean, most of the people know Hilton. So then you can travel with Hilton.
And looking at both of yourselves, obviously, neither of you immediately saw hospitality as a path or something that you would go into. So what made you make that switch, or what attracted you to the industry?
You go first.
For me, it was that internationality, right? I was in communications before, especially PR, which is very localized, right? You need to have that local network of journalists. And hospitality was the exact opposite, right? You can deliver a great experience in Vienna, where I'm from, in Munich, where my current placement is, or anywhere else in the world, right? People will always travel, people will always need a place to stay, and not only a made bed to sleep, but also, the experience around it. And I saw that this was possible in the hospitality industry. And yeah, I was so happy when I got the chance to do it.
And then for me, I think it was, well, I think there's something very beautiful about being part of creating big memories for others. So, well, having the opportunity to work in a hotel was working on the background, like on the, I don't know how to say the word in English, but yeah, like working on the background of how to make a day special for someone else.
What are the roles? Like, let's dive a little bit more deeper into that.
I think that's what is so cool about the program also, is that you have so many roles, right, that you fill in this time. And every hotel has most of these roles as well, right? They are operational, they're commercial, but also some are supported by regional, right? So super fun.
Yes, there's just so many like roles to fulfill in a hotel. When I was thinking about this question before, I didn't know how specific I wanted to go, and so then I started writing like all the roles I've seen in my time here, and it was just way too many roles for this podcast. But then yeah, in general, I mean, we have, if you're from human resources, then you need to talk to the legal team, and then also it's like a psychology background, but then you also have the finances, and with the accounting, which is more numbers, then you also have supply chain, then you have logistics, then you have like from operations, from front office to food and drinks to housekeeping to banqueting, and there's just so many things for everyone. Engineering for maintenance, and then IT. There's just so many roles to play.
And how do they then come together? Because obviously we talk about, yes, we have this department, we have this department. How are they all intertwined to give this full guest experience?
I think that's the beauty of it, right? That a hotel wouldn't work at all if one single department doesn't work, right? Because at front office, you talk to the other departments, and I think all of the other departments at least once a day, right? Either if something doesn't work, or if there's a special request or whatever. For example, a guest comes in, his Wi-Fi doesn't work, for example. Yeah, you call IT. A guest comes in, the AC, it call engineering. So so many different things. Or on the positive side, you want a very special evening dinner for someone, so you talk to the restaurant. And that's the beauty of it, right? You have to have it intertwined, and you have to have that connection to the other departments as well, which also fosters this social aspect of it, right? This kind of family aspect, because you know that if you do your job great, and only if the other person also does their job great, then together you make the stay great.
Yeah, I think it's very big actually. Now I'm thinking about it. It's a completely overwhelming industry, but when it does work, so beautiful.
The logistics are just amazing, right? I mean, so many individuals doing their thing, and then in the end, it comes down to every single guest just having a great experience.
Yeah. So obviously, we all know it. Hospitality is super fast paced. It's dynamic, and I think maybe it's similar for you guys, but what I really feel is that I love the adrenaline rush that comes with it. So obviously with that, there is a lot of ups. So then when you're in the downtime, what are the kind of other support that you get throughout going with that?
I think Hilton itself is very understanding of the downtimes, right? And values you taking the time to recharge, be it through traveling, be it through your own personal hobbies, that you can, when back in the job, also again work with that adrenaline rush.
I think there's many benefits and things that Hilton gives to you when you join them. So for example, there's the community that Tobias talked about, and there's not only that, but in our program, for example, they provide you with a buddy and a mentor and a sponsor, which is just people that you can reach out to when you're having difficulties. So sometimes, I mean, well, we're new into this. There's many things we don't understand or we don't know how to handle. So just having these people that you can go to and talk to them and just open yourself about your vulnerable times, and they're there to help you. Well, in my case, there was a time where I was like just very overwhelmed, and I was just, what is going on? I don't understand anything. And I talked to, well, the sponsor they gave me, and she was just very, very nice, very understanding. She gave me great advice, and that was something that I was very happy to have that, because without it, I would have been overwhelmed longer. So that was just great. And not only the people they give you around you to help you, but also they provide you with lots of learning. So we have a thing called Hilton University, and well, we can take courses on everything, and even on LinkedIn Learning and all that. And I just love like being able to have access to this. It's great.
We cannot not talk about the Hilton benefits of travel.
Oh yes.
I think, and team member rates being everywhere. So how have you guys used it throughout your time so far?
Well, for me, here in beautiful Amsterdam, I actually spent the last 2 days here and explored the city, you know, because I knew I was coming here for the podcast anyway. So might as well use some team member rates. And that's just the beauty of it, right? I've been in Rome, I've been in Berlin, I've been to Riga, and I think 1 or 2 more cities actually, ever since joining Hilton. Because with the team member rate, you know, I have 2-3 days off. If there's a flight or if there's a train, yeah, just book it.
I love that.
and just enjoy seeing a new culture, a new city. It gives you a perspective, you know, culturally. But also what I love personally is exploring the other hotel, you know, because you see your hotel, you see your operations, but you see how others do it. You get inspiration from that as well. So it is a win-win situation, right? For Hilton, because it gives the perspectives and inspiration, but for the team member as well, because it makes them or gives them the opportunity to explore and experience new things.
So that's also very nice that you get to go to very beautiful like restaurants and bars and places and at a discounted rate.
So when I think back to my time in Elevator, for example, I remember sitting there in the interview and being like, okay, do I really know what I'm going into? Do I really know? And now I look back and I'm a completely different person. My confidence has developed so much. I usually wouldn't put myself in situations potentially opening myself for criticism, you know, really putting myself out there. But with it, I've really developed this openness. And when my team members give me feedback, I really perceive it as a gift, because at the end of the day, you're just developing yourself. You're just getting better each day. So for me, that has really been a complete journey throughout this short period of 18 months that you're on the elevator. But you come out a completely different person. So obviously being midway your journeys, how do you feel about this, or have you experienced it so far?
For me personally, what was, I think, the biggest impact is that I not only was open for criticism, but also open for new experiences much more than I was before, right? The confidence in trying out new things, in getting out of your comfort zone, in just messaging someone you don't know and asking them for a coffee, which I before always thought I need a reason for, you know, an in. No, you can just send an email and be like, hey, I'll be in town. do you have time for a coffee? I would love to meet you.
Yeah.
And those things are something that I wouldn't have done before, and now I feel much more confident in.
For me, so far, in these months that I've been in the program, I feel like a completely different person. So if I talk to myself from back there, I would be like, wow, so much improvement already. Because I feel like all this exposure and all these projects and all this learning and all these different teams every time has really given me like a lot of courage, and I feel really empowered now. Like before, I was more like, oh, let's go into this new thing. I'm not sure how it's gonna go, and I'm a little nervous. And I mean, now I'm still nervous, but I'm like, well, I've been doing it all this time, so let's just go for it. And I feel like really, yeah, just empowered, and I love that. And I also feel like I have gained lots of like soft skills that are very useful for life. So, for example, on time management, because there's many things going on and then there's just not enough hours in the day, so you have to really like get into it, and that's something that I'm gonna use forever. And also like saying no, because sometimes, well, I mean, you just want to do everything and you just want to please everyone and be helpful for everyone, but there's a point where you have to like learn this skill. And that's something that I feel like it's great that at this young age and with just a couple of months of work experience here at Hilton, I have already gained these life skills that I think are very valuable.